Emily believed her life was ordinary in the best way. Mornings were rushed but familiar, evenings calm but warm. She lived with her husband Daniel and their 6-year-old son Noah in a quiet neighborhood near Seattle, where trees lined the streets, and neighbors waved without asking questions. Nothing about her life felt dramatic. It felt safe. And safety was what she valued most. Daniel had a steady job in tech. He wasn't loud or romantic in obvious ways, but he was reliable. He remembered appointments, fixed things around the house, and read bedtime stories in different voices for Noah. Emily worked part-time in marketing and spent the rest of her time balancing motherhood and marriage. They had their arguments, but they ended most nights on the same couch, sharing silence that felt comfortable. Laura was part of that comfort. Laura was not just a friend. She was woven into Emily's life. They met years ago at a prenatal class, both nervous and excited about becoming mothers. Laura had a way of listening that made people feel important. She remembered details, asked thoughtful questions, and showed up when it mattered. Over time, she became the person Emily called before anyone else. Laura knew everything. She knew when Daniel and Emily argued. She knew Emily's fears about aging, about losing connection, about being taken for granted. She knew the small cracks in the marriage that Emily never said out loud to anyone else. Millie never thought. The first sign that something was wrong did not come as a shock. It came quietly. Daniel started staying late at work. He said deadlines were tight, new projects demanding. Emily believed him. She wanted to believe him. When he came home tired, she gave him space. When he seemed distracted, she assumed stress. Laura. Was there more often during that time? She would stop by after dropping her daughter at soccer practice or come over for coffee in the afternoon. She helped Emily with errands, listened when Emily felt overwhelmed, and reassured her that marriage had seasons. Every couple goes through distance, Laura once said. It doesn't mean it's broken. Emily held on to those words. One rainy afternoon, Emily stood in her kitchen watching water slide down the window. The house was quiet. Noah was at school. Daniel was at work. The silence felt heavier than usual. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A message from Laura appeared. We need to talk. Emily frowned. Laura never sent messages like that. She typed back quickly, asking if everything was okay. The response came almost immediately. Ken, I come over tonight. Emily agreed, though her chest tightened for reasons she couldn't name. That evening, Laura arrived later than usual. She didn't smile when Emily opened the door. Her shoulders were tense, her eyes tired. They sat on the couch, the same couch, where Emily had cried about motherhood and laughed about small victories. Laura didn't speak at first. Laura? Emily said gently, You're worrying me. Laura took a deep breath. Her hands shook as she folded them together. There's something I should have told you a long time ago. Emily tried to laugh, but it sounded thin. You're acting like someone died. Laura looked at her eyes, filling with tears. I wish it were that simple. The room felt too quiet. What is it? Emily asked. Laura's voice dropped. It started as conversations. Nothing bad, just talking. Daniel felt lonely. I felt understood. Emily stared at her, not fully grasping the meaning yet. Talking about what? About life. About marriage. About feeling invisible. Emily's heart began to race. Why are you telling me this? Laura's lips trembled. Because it crossed a line. Time slowed. The sound of the refrigerator humming grew loud. Emily's thoughts scattered. What line? Emily asked, though part of her already knew. Laura closed her eyes. I'm so sorry. The words hit before the meaning did. It was Daniel. Laura said. Emily stood up so fast the coffee table shook. Stop. That's not funny. I'm not joking, Laura said. I never planned it. It just happened. Emily felt dizzy. You're lying. Laura shook her head. I wish I was. The air felt thick. Emily paced the room, her Hands clenched. How long? Akeen's? Laura whispered. It ended. I swear. I couldn't live with myself. Emily laughed, a sharp, broken sound. You couldn't live with yourself, so you decided to destroy me. That's not what I wanted, Laura said, crying now. I hated myself every day. Emily pointed at the door. Get out. Laura stood, hesitated, then left without another word. Emily stood alone, staring at the closed door. Her mind replayed every memory, every shared laugh, every moment Laura had sat across from Daniel at the dinner table. She felt sick when Daniel came home. Emily was waiting. Did you sleep with Laura? She asked. Daniel froze. His face told her everything before he spoke. Yes, he said quietly. The word felt like a punch. Why? Emily asked. Why her? Daniel ran a hand through his hair. I was weak. I felt disconnected. She listened. I didn't think Emily cut him off. Don't explain. Just stop. He stepped closer. It meant nothing. It meant everything, Emily said. That night, Emily slept on the couch. She stared at the ceiling until morning. Her body felt numb. Her mind refused to rest. The days that followed were a blur. Daniel apologized constantly. He promised counseling. He promised change. Emily moved through her routine like a stranger in her own life. She packed lunches, drove Noah to school, answered emails, all while feeling hollow. Noah noticed. Why are you sad, Mom? He asked one morning. Emily smiled. Weakly. I'm just tired. Did I do something wrong? Emily pulled him close. Never. Daniel tried harder than ever. Cooked dinners, left notes, sent messages during the day, but every kind gesture felt heavy. Every touch reminded Emily of what he had done. Laura sent messages to long apologies, explanations. Emily deleted them all. Arguments replaced calm conversations. Silence filled the house. Daniel suggested space. Emily agreed, believing distance might help her breathe again. Daniel moved out at first. It felt temporary. A break. A pause. But weeks turned into months. Emily filed for separation, telling herself it was for clarity, not an ending. She told Noah that Daddy needed time. She told herself the same at night. When the house was quiet, Emily replayed everything. She wondered how she missed the signs. She wondered if she had failed as a wife. She wondered how trust could vanish. So completely, she did not know yet that the truth she had heard was only part of the story. She did not know that the person she trusted most had not left her life at all, and she did not know that the greatest loss was still waiting for her. Emily's life had changed completely since the betrayal. The house she once called home, filled with laughter and quiet evenings, was gone. Daniel had moved out months ago, taking his side of the life they built together. Emily had moved in too. A smaller apartment closer to Noah's school, rearranging her furniture to make space feel like home, though nothing ever felt quite the same. Every day felt like a careful balancing act between work, parenting, and the endless ache of loss. She had stopped checking Daniel's social media. She avoided talking to Laura. She told herself that cutting them out was the only way to survive. Emily tried to build a routine that kept her busy and focused. Mornings started with breakfast for Noah, dressing him and walking him to the school bus. Afternoons were filled with work and marketing, back-to-back meetings, and project deadlines that required every bit of attention. Evenings were quiet, often spent cooking simple meals and helping Noah with homework. She tried to sleep early, but the nights stretched long and empty. She remembered the house filled with laughter and the soft comfort of a hand to hold. And she felt the absence of those things like a hollow ache. She thought she was prepared for anything when she arrived one afternoon to pick up Noah from Daniel's place. It was a Thursday, late afternoon. Emily had come early, hoping to surprise Noah and have a few extra minutes together before he went back to her apartment. She had a spare key given by Daniel during a tense but civil conversation months ago. She walked quietly inside, planning to peek into the living room and wave before announcing herself. The moment she stepped in, She froze. Laughter reached her ears first, high and light, and it wasn't Noah's alone. It was Laura's. Emily's heart skipped, a sudden jolt she couldn't prepare for. She moved closer, her steps cautious and quiet, and saw what she dreaded. Laura was on the living room floor, kneeling beside Noah, helping him fit puzzle pieces together. Her hair fell over her face, hiding some of the tension Emily knew was always there when guilt weighed on her. Daniel was leaning against the doorway, watching them with a soft, gentle smile that had once belonged to a home Emily thought she would never leave. The scene was innocent at first glance, almost normal, but Emily's chest tightened with every beat. No one noticed her immediately. She stood near the entrance, frozen, watching her family in the most surreal way possible. Noah looked happy, completely absorbed in the puzzle, laughing and talking. Laura smiled back at him warmly, and Daniel laughed. Quiet laugh she remembered and hated all at once. Then Laura saw her. Her face went pale. Emily's own body felt like ice, her legs trembling, but she forced herself to step forward. The air was thick. Words seemed impossible, yet Emily found herself asking, how long? Daniel's mouth opened, then closed, unsure of what to say. Laura stood slowly, her hands pressed together as if to apologize for every wrong decision she had ever made. Emily, she started, but Emily cut her off. After you and Daniel separated, this wasn't over, was it? Emily's voice was quiet but sharp. Her gaze burned, holding both of them in place. You didn't just stop. You didn't leave. You stayed. You replaced me. Laura's lips trembled. Not like that, not like that. Emily's laugh was brittle. You didn't just betray me once. You rewrote my family while pretending it was for my child. Did you even think about how that felt? How it would destroy everything I loved? Daniel's voice broke through, soft and hesitant. Emily, Laura cares about Noah. No, Daniel. That's the problem. Emily's eyes welled with tears she refused to let fall. You didn't just betray me. You replaced me. You didn't leave room for me anymore. My life, my child, my trustees, all gone because of your choices. Laura's face twisted with shame. She stepped closer, but Emily held up a hand, stopping her. Don't. Just don't. Emily walked out without another word, her hands shaking her chest tight. She returned to her car, tears streaming freely now, unable to stop them. The betrayal wasn't just about marriage anymore, it was about her son, about family, about the life she thought she had and the life she would never get back. Weeks turned into months after that encounter, and the fight for Noah began in earnest. Daniel, citing stability and Laura's involvement, argued for primary custody. Emily's energy was drained from work, parenting, and the constant battle of trying to prove that she could provide the love and stability her son needed. Lawyers, paperwork, and courtrooms became her daily life. The term best interest of the child echoed in her ears, cold and mechanical. As if a legal phrase could erase the emotional chaos she lived with, Emily fought hard, but exhaustion weakened her defenses. She felt herself being stretched thin, every argument taking pieces of her heart with it. Late nights in her apartment were quiet but filled with a heavy kind of grief. She sat on the floor, rocking slightly, feeling the weight of every betrayal and loss. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was silent and crushing, a slow erosion of her sense of safety, home, and self. Even with the setbacks, Emily didn't give up. Therapy became a lifeline. She forced herself to step outside on cold mornings and walk through parks with Noah. She told herself she wasn't losing him completely. That love could survive distance. Every moment she spent teaching him words, helping him with puzzles, or laughing at his silly jokes was a reclaiming of what they could never take away entirely. One afternoon, months after the custody battle, Emily was walking through the park. Near her apartment, the sky was gray but soft, clouds stretching low over the city. Noah ran toward her, faster than she expected, his small hands gripping hers when he reached her. His smile was bright, unburdened, full of the kind of innocence that healed more than words ever could. "I missed you, Mom," he said. His voice was quiet but full of conviction. Emily bent down, holding him close. "I'm always here. Always. No matter what." She kissed his hair and felt a warmth she hadn't felt in months. In that moment, Emily realized something profound. Laura had destroyed a marriage. She had intruded on what should have been a safe, sacred part of Emily's life. But she couldn't destroy the love between Emily and Noah. That bond was beyond manipulation, beyond deceit. Emily began to understand that survival didn't mean forgiveness, and it didn't mean forgetting. It meant learning, growing, and reclaiming her life piece by piece. She couldn't undo the past. She couldn't erase the betrayal or the loss. But she could refuse to let it define her. Slowly, she started building again. She cut unnecessary ties with toxic reminders, focused on work she enjoyed, and embraced moments with friends who brought light instead of pain. Each day was hard, but it was hers. Each night, she slept knowing she was still standing, still moving. Forward, Emily's story became one not just of betrayal, but of resilience. She learned that love, even when challenged by the worst of human choices, could survive in different forms. She was no longer the person who trusted blindly, but she was stronger, wiser, and determined. Laura had been the reason her marriage ended. Daniel had been weak when he should have been strong. Emily had lost her daily life with Noah, but none of them could take away who she was. She could still love, she could still fight. She could still be the mother Noah needed, the person she wanted to be, and the woman she was learning to become. And that realization, small but powerful, became her anchor. Even in the hardest moments, Emily held on to hope, the quiet knowledge that life could be rebuilt, piece by piece, moment by moment. Betrayal had reshaped her world, but it hadn't broken her. She would always carry the pain, but she would also carry the strength, no matter what Laura and Daniel had taken. Emily refused to let them take her story. She was still here. And she was not done. Her journey was far from over.